Hi there guys, in this video I want to give you a bit of a status update on what's been happening. I know it's been a while since my last video and I wanted to address that in this. So if you've been following me on Facebook, you may have seen that I've re-picked up Elite. I've had quite a bit of a break from it, to be honest, playing other games and doing other things, but sometimes that's a good thing. I feel some of these games can be quite heavy going, and having a break makes things allow things to mature somewhat, and when you come back you can see the difference. Definitely Elite, things have changed quite a bit. So if you've been following, you've probably seen that I'm heading back over to Colonia. The main reasons for this is I want to go exploring again and check out some of the new places and see how the new lighting system works and so forth. The other reason for this is to check out the engineers that are there. And as I've been looking them up and checking them out, I will update my site with the information. However, I wanted to actually go there in person so I could actually check them myself. I don't like updating my information from other sources, so that means actually getting all the way over there. So now I'm actually over there, I will start doing that. So far I think I've unlocked 2 engineers there, and both of them have been okay, but they haven't been that fantastic. But I will, like I said, look into it a bit more. So another thing that's been going on, which is not game related but something in real life, is about the house. Now if you've been following my videos for a while, you may have heard me talk about we was trying to find a plot of land to build a house on. Now that idea got shelved as it was going to be a lot of work, and I don't think my dad was up to actually a new build. So we started looking for a property that needed doing up. Eventually we actually did find something a few months back, and this place did need a lot of work. It wasn't really even habitable in its current state. It needed a gas supply, a boiler. It had plasterboard down, it had holes in the ceiling, it had damp in it, and a lot of issues like that. But we felt that was something we could actually deal with. Obviously it being 2 hours each way driving was not ideal, but something that we did have to factor in. So we did think that we could actually do it though. So we did actually put an offer in and it was accepted, and then we had to get solicitors involved to do the actual check-in and all that lot. Eventually he came back with all his searches and we did have a good look through it all. In the actual information, apparently there was some more negatives. In the actual deeds of the properties there was a thing put in for mining, so basically a nearby company could actually mine underneath the property. That was a pretty big negative for us. We then found out that it was being actually developed nearby, so there was a kind of a big park being built, and that was negative. We found out there was a quarry that was only about a few miles away, and it had a license for another 20 years I believe, so they could actually start that back up. And we found out that it was in a high radon area. Now this is something I've never actually knew what it was until then. After a lot of looking up, we found out that some areas have quite an issue with radon, and this was in an area which was marked for high, so we kind of needed to do something about it. All these issues added together just meant that it became even more work, and eventually we just had to pull out the sale, even though it's going to cost us a bit for solicitors and all that lot. As you know, they're not going to be cheap, but we just felt we couldn't actually carry on with it, and it became just too much work. So I don't know what the current plan is at the moment. We're kind of just thinking what to do. I think the current plan is to possibly just move to another place. But like I said, I'll let you know how things go with that. So hopefully you understand why I haven't been posting so many videos and keeping the site so much updated. We've just been really busy looking into that property and searching and doing stuff like that, and basically preparing to do it. So it was a bit of a blow when we had to pull out. But anyway, hopefully you understand, and like I said, I'll try and keep you up to date in the future about that. So anyway, back onto gaming. So something I've been playing just recently is 2 Point Hospital. I found this was a very good game. Quite a few games just recently I've been a bit disappointed, to be honest, but this one is a very good game. I really like the attention to detail, how you can zoom into a specific person or zoom right out. If you ever play Theme Hospital, you could never do such a thing like that, and this is a very good remake. Essentially, they've added quite a lot, so I wouldn't say it's a remake. They've added to the actual basic formula and added a lot of stuff, and it makes a lot of sense. There's things like CAFs, reception desks and things like that. As you can see here, you can actually design them a bit much better than you could before. So it's a game, if you've ever played Theme Hospital and liked it, I suggest you highly look at this game. It is very good, and like I said, it will take 100+ hours of your time if you get into it. Obviously this is not for everybody, no game is for everybody, but if you do enjoy these type of games, I suggest you give it a look. So on to X4. Now for me this has been a little bit of a disappointment, as I feel when you get to a certain point in the game you kind of feel you've done everything. There's no kind of high-end content, if you understand what I mean. There's no big boss sort of fights or no sectors to really sort of claim, essentially. You just kind of feel that you get to a point and it's not much else to do. I'm sure over time Egosoft will add a lot more stuff to this game and fix a lot of the issues. I do hope, like they say, the UI gets a bit of an improvement, but I have to see how things like that go. The sitting in the blind spots, I don't know if they can really fix that, to be honest. I showed that in my review a while back, where you could basically get a little ship and sit in the blind spot of a capital ship and just keep chipping away, and eventually you'd actually destroy them. So there's some big kind of issues they need to sort out with this game, and like I said, they need to add some more content to it, which is a bit of a shame. In some respects, when I keep an eye on my site, I've noticed that the X3 AP site, which I've built quite a while back, so obviously it's a bit more established and it's got quite a lot of more information on, still gets around about 2,000 page views a day, which is not bad, especially for an old game. However, X4 has dropped to around about 1,000 page views a day. Now this game's only been out a couple of months and we've seen a big drop in traffic for it. So I can only guess that other people have played it and then they've kind of moved on to something else. I'm sure interest will increase when Egosoft release more patches and add-ons and DLC content, but for the day-to-day, it's kind of a bit underwhelming to see the interest drop such amount. But I guess it's understandable in some circumstances. I did try the big capital ships and felt they were very underwhelming, so I'm guessing that's what people are feeling at the moment. Hopefully Egosoft will push X4 on, and like I said, I'll be keeping a close eye on it. And finally, the last game I want to talk about is The Division 2. Now, it's actually in beta at the moment, and somehow I managed to get a code from some guy on Twitter. He was giving a load of codes out for the first 1,500 people, I believe. Somehow I managed to get a code. Now, I've been playing this for a few hours, and this is some of my early content because I didn't want to kind of spoil anything in the future. Obviously, if you go and look on the net, you'll find all the information anyway. But after playing it a while, I kind of feel like it's kind of like the Division 1.5. I definitely think the graphics are pretty good. There's no fault there, but it does feel very much like a Division continue rather than a new Division to me. The layout's very similar. What you do is very similar. The picking up the items. So it's so far been okay. I was a bit shocked when I actually looked at the prices of the game. I think the base game is 50 quid, which is kind of what it is nowadays, which is expensive, but I guess that's what it is. The deluxe edition, which I do not really understand the point of those, I think that was 83 quid. And usually deluxe edition only gives you some silly costumes or skins or whatever, and then finally the kind of premium or deluxe edition, which was at 100 quid, which is kind of steep for me for a game. So I did look into it. You look at that and you think, well, does that include a season pass and all that lot? And when I started looking into the Divisions 2's season or DLC content, apparently it's going to be all free. But the only advantage for that premium pass is that you get access to it by an extra 7 days. So I don't see why there is such a big premium on that price. I don't think it really justifies itself. Maybe I've got it completely wrong. And like I said, this does seem very much like a continuation, but I just thought I'd post that up there because I have been checking it out, and whether to see if you're interested for me to post any more content like this. So anyway, that's a update of what's been going on in that. I know this status update is a bit longer than they normally are. Usually they're quite quick, but I suppose it's been a while since I last posted one, so I wanted to fill you in with all the details. Now I'm back in Colonia. I will be doing some more research into the engineers, and I will be updating the site with those. With X4, it's a bit of a shame that it just seems to be concluded for the time being. Definitely keep an eye on that. I definitely would suggest having a look at 2 Point Hospital if you're interested in those type of games, especially if you've played Theme Hospital. Well worth a check. And the Division 2, like I said, it was kind of a little bit underwhelming. It's kind of like more of the same. Not that that's a bad thing. I can't speculate on the end content, which was, I think, quite lacking in the first game, but this one does seem better, definitely better graphics, but I have to see how that one goes. I'm not very keen on the prices for that at all. Anyway, if you have any comments or suggestions, as always, please leave them below. I'd be very interested to hear from you guys. Like I said, sorry it's been so long since the last video, but like I said, with the things with the house, that's obviously made things very busy, so hopefully you understand with that. So if you did like the video, drop us a like, that always helps. If you do like the channel, also think about subscribing. That really helps me out massively. A big thanks to everybody who has subscribed out there. Thank you very much for your help and your support. Anyway guys, I think that's it for this one. Take care and have fun out there.